Welcome back to our channel for more real talk on moving to Ghana, West Africa. So welcome again to another conversation with Elder Deacon, and today we're going to talk about
Promised Land.
Yes, today we're talking to Elder Deacon about Ghana, the Promised Land, and there's some new perspectives on this, so stay tuned. If you're new to the channel or if you like our videos, please subscribe now. It's free, completely painless, and it's a lot easier than some things I could mention. Thank you for your support, and let's get into it. Okay, so Deacon, there's a lot of people coming to Ghana and buying land. Sometimes they come for a short visit and buy land straight away. Other times they've lived in Ghana for a while and they look for land. And quite a few people have some issues with buying land. What do you think those issues are caused by?
One, we call steward. From experience, most tools we have cheap, they overstep them boundary because they don't see themselves as steward, they see themselves as landowner. If you own piece of land, you must can tell me what formula or ingredient you use to make the land. Most of these people who claim in the land that is theirs and they double sell the land and triple sell the land, none of them can produce the formula to make the land.
That's an interesting idea. Go on.
Biblically, Genesis 1 tell you the creation of the earth. And if you look in Leviticus 25:25 KJV, it tells you that the land must not be sold forever. And yet the land being sold, there's no recreation facility provided from the money that the land being sold, no job creation, nothing for the youth them as in sports to organize the youth them in the community. They have all the money, it gone up into thin air, either woman, car, that's where the money go when they sell the land. Then you have the chief, them have these gangster wigs, them you call them land guard. If you have piece of land set aside for a purpose and they deem it right that they want the land, they just march in and take the land by force. Take the land by force. If you haven't got what you call money to back you, then they'll take the land from you. If anything, they'll take your life if you can't stand to it.
Okay, let's stick a pin. That's not 100% accurate, just a perception. Land guarding using force, violation or intimidation like that is illegal and punishable by 10 to 15 years in jail. But it's important to note a couple of things. Firstly, over 35 million hectares of land in Africa has been bought by foreign investors in the last 20 years. So there is some buying and selling of land going on. But Ghana is not even on the list of top countries selling land. Russia is at the top. Secondly, land tenure in Ghana is very complicated, bit of a legal gravy train. But there's a brand new land law, the Land Act 2020, Act 1036. The assent was given on 23rd of December 2020, and the new act tries to revise, harmonise and consolidate laws on land in Ghana. But it is 214 pages long, so... Okay, so firstly then, you're saying that the people selling the land don't really have the right to sell it?
No, according to the Bible.
So why do people come to buy land if there's no rightful seller? That doesn't make sense either, does it?
They have the custodian, the chief, they are the one to look over it.
Okay, so then if you come and you want to buy land, what you're saying is that you're not really buying it, because you can't buy something from someone who doesn't own it to sell.
Exactly.
Oh, so everyone that comes and thinks they're buying land, what are they doing then in your eyes?
Well, to buy the land is contravening what the scripture just quoted, Leviticus 25:25. The land shall not be sold. Okay, if you come and you get a portion of land and you want to offer something to the stool, no problem with that. But when they by force you have to pay for the land, it's not right. People who of our people is from the, where you say, from the
Diaspora.
Caribbean, man. I don't like that word because it sound like we desperate. We're not desperate for nothing. All the thing we want, we come here in Ghana, in Africa, and we can get land so we can settle ourselves down. That's all we need. We're not desperado, because if we were desperado, we would leave America and Europe come here, because we were fine there what we have discrimination, but we was living with it. But when you come to your own land now and your own people discriminate against you and tell you say it's a foreigner, that one cannot be difficult to bear or difficult to digest.
But what about people who buy land, or as you say, they pay a donation so that they can live on the land, and then they actually do something with it? So they farm it, or they build something on it, create employment, and so on. Do they also have problems with land guards?
Depends on the area you are in.
What do you mean? Depends on the area.
For example, now here in Accra, we call Pupasi area, Kaswa area, you have problem with land guard. And also inside the rural area, you have those land, every school have those sort of people with them. And those are the ones that they will send to come and disrupt you on your land, cause and can spoil anything you put on the land. Once they decide they want to take the land, if you put a house on it, they'll come with machine and mash it down.
I have to say that's not common.
It's not common, but
It's
that's
not
the
common.
practice.
You're really one of the only people that I've spoken to that said this about the land guards coming to attack you if you've built on the property.
And they
What
want to
I'm
seize it.
aware of is where the land guards come if you've not done any development on it.
Okay. Who is to define what is development? Because me, I'm a herbalist. My development for a portion of land would be the herbal tree that I need to perform my medicine. So someone come and will say, oh, the place is bush, and I don't develop the place. That's not right, because everybody idea about development is totally different.
That's a very good point. So how do we resolve that issue then?
You come back, you have somebody have a portion of land, you don't tell them how to develop it, because you're not giving them the money. Where you give the person money, you can dictate, say, okay, I want you to do this. But from you not providing the person with any land, you can't dictate to them how development is. For example, a poor man, he get a portion of land. He's not able to build anything on it, just a little wooden shack where he keep him family. You're going to go and take it to say he didn't develop the land. That's wickedness, because he can't afford to do that. And when you take people land from them, you take their hopes. Because everybody has a right to a portion of land.
So what do you think the government should be doing to protect people when they get access to land, whether we call it buying land or contributing to get the land? What do you think the government can do?
The government must, Minister of Lands and Resources, must look into the land matter, how land is acquired, how land is sold, and the litigation that in court. By doing so, I think they can come up with some answer what to do about the land matter.
But then the other issue is land is money. And for a lot of people here, because employment is difficult and so on, for a lot of people here, being able to sell land and get something back from it is very important. So how do you overcome that hurdle?
What do you want? You sell the land, what you want to do with the money?
Well, in the same way you buy the land or you've got the land, what do you want to do with it? I mean, you just said that no one has the right to query what you do with the land. So we don't have the right to query what they want to do with the money, but they want it. You see.
Okay, but you come back to land and commodity. Land is a commodity, you sell it. Where is your formula to sell it? Okay, if you look on an indenture, from what I see, the indenture will tell you, say, it's been given by this tool, and it's signed by this chief and his elder them. And they say you have the land for a certain amount of time, like for 50 years. After that, it go back to this tool. Okay. If the land is in your possession after 50 years, you still on the land, would you take it back to this tool?
That's the question, isn't it?
Well, that's a question. It's things like that.
Yeah. Because Ghana's only, how old? 50 something years, from 1957.
54 or 53, 54 years. I'm 55 this year or so. I'm 1 year older than Ghana.
Yes, so then these land policies haven't really been tested.
But you see, these land policies come after
Independent.
After Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown. The whole constitution have it in it that if you have a dispute between two stools, the independence constitution said that the both stool must go back from the boundary 3 miles. So in between that gap would be like a neutral gap, or it come underneath the government, the third party. And because that being suspended in the constitution, you get this way you call constitution, where you have these law and people flirt it.
Wow, so then is Ghana the promised land?
Africa, not Ghana alone, Ghana is just the gateway.
You think
Ghana is just the gateway, because that's where we leave and go into slavery 500 years ago. So this is where we have to start to come back to.
Okay. So it's like redefining what we mean as the gateway then. It's just where we left from. Okay. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Anything else you want to add?
Not for the time being. Maybe I don't want to make people see that I'm bitter. I'm bitter, but I want to get the nice part of it over to you people. So it's rosy, but rose have thorn on it. So if you hold a rose flowers, you must be careful of the thorn. So the problem on the land issue is thorny like the rose. So if we come here and we decide to get piece of land, we must have amongst our own people in a community where any problem we can stand together. If we don't do that, then we will say we are a target for people who doesn't have no regard for law or any respect for anybody, just for themselves. We say call them covetous and greedy people them. End it there. In Acts chapter 5, verses 1 to 10, Sapphira and Ananias with their wife, they sold their land and conspired to keep back a portion. In case it failed, they would have that to run back to. So when they take the money to the apostles, Peter asked the husband, "Did you sell the land for this amount?" And he answered yes, and straight away he died. So those who lie that they own the land and they can't provide the family how you make land, from the family will die up to the last one.
Oh, that's a very
controversial.
Yes,
but hear this now. If you not die today, you're going to die tomorrow or the next day. Your days are numbered, because you can't own something where you bury your family in the ground and you can't call back your family like how Christ rise from the dead. So that means you don't own the land.
Thanks very much for that, Deacon. But remember, whatever the law says, don't forget that land law in Ghana has evolved and is still evolving. Don't be put off by anything you read or hear about land in Ghana. Think long term, think generations, think homecoming. And remember, please, to subscribe, like and share the video. And we will definitely see you in Ghana next time.